Hi guys, today we have a super exciting project. We're going to fill this GreenStalk with not one, not two, but 13 different varieties of micro dwarf tomatoes. These little jewels are amazing. Some of them are only 12 inches tall, and some of them 2 feet tall, but they will be perfect for any type of small container gardening. If you have a balcony, you don't have a lot of area, these are the ones you want to plant. I got a lot of these from Victory Seeds, some of them from Botanical Interest, and there's actually one I'm really excited about from Burpee. Hang on, I'll share more about that with you here in a second. But I'd like to welcome you to my backyard Kentucky homestead. My name is Kim, and let's get planting. So to start, let me introduce you to all of the plants that we will be planting today. So the first one is Cherry Falls. This is a patio container variety from Botanical Interest. It is a determinate 55 to 65 day maturity. Compact container size, will have clusters of 1.5 inch fruits on it. Super excited about that one. We also have Patio Choice, which I couldn't find because they would put it in the top of the GreenStalk. But we have Patio Choice. It is a yellow cherry-sized tomato, determinate 45-day maturity, compact 18-inch plant size. So it's a sweet yellow tomato. Awesome. So the next one we have is Microtina. It is a determinate. This one might be Microtina. It only gets about 8 inches tall. It has super sweet red tomatoes and a 60-day maturity. And then we have Red Robin. It is a determinate 6 to 12 inch plant. That's small, 55 days maturity. It's really gorgeous. The next one is Micro Tom. It is also a determinate. It will get 8 inches tall and 85-day maturity. So it's a much longer day maturity on this one. It is really, really small. So much I'll grow this one after this season, but we'll see how it goes. So this next one is Tiny Tim. It is determinate 45-day maturity, 10 to 12 inches tall, but it gets 14 inches across. So we'll need some space here. And you'll see I've got some, I have some supports here that I got off Amazon I'm going to be using for the taller tomatoes, which I plan to put on these top tiers, and the shorter ones we're going to put towards the bottom. We have Orange Hat, which is an orange cherry tomato. Determinate 60-day maturity, gets to 12 inches tall. It's also very good to grow inside. It doesn't need as much light as other tomatoes. So this is a good one if you want to have tomatoes over the winter. But I had a variety of tomatoes all winter with the grow lights I've got. I will link those below, as well as the video I did on my grow light setup. The Orange Hat. The next one is Rosy Finch, which is a determinate 55-day maturity, 12 to 18 inches tall, and it is also a pinky red tomato. This is a new one for me. It is Mocha's Cherry. It's a darker tomato, so more like maybe a black cherry type tomato. Determinate 65-day maturity, 18 to 20 inches tall. Has purplish tint to nearly black tomatoes when exposed to the sun. So I'm really excited about growing this. So the next one we have is a Dwarf Round Robin tomato. It is supposed to be indeterminate. How that works with a micro tomato, I don't know, but we'll find out. A 90-day maturity. This one will get 2 to 3 feet tall, 2 to 3 ounce fruit on it, dark red with green stripes. Then we have Dwarf Metallica, which is also indeterminate. 75-day maturity, again, 2 to 3 feet tall. 4 to 16 ounce fruits. I'm really excited to see how that goes. Pink heart shape with green stripes. So really excited about getting this planted and seeing what we got. Or the second to last one is Little Napoli. This is a determinate 60 to 65-day maturity, 12 to 24 inches tall, and it can get pretty wide across. So we're going to make sure we have plenty of support with these little support structures, and it has plenty of space. So the one that I'm really excited about is one I actually found at my local store. It is a bush steak from Burpee. It is a determinate 65-day maturity, 8 to 12 ounce red fruit, and it can get 20 to 24 inches tall. So let's get the soil amended, and then we'll get all of these planted up. So we'll plant a couple extra of these bigger ones, and the smaller ones I'm only going to do one, because I really want to get some good tomatoes off this GreenStalk. So let's get going. I have filled up the GreenStalk with good potting soil, and what we're going to do to amend that is add some hollytone and also some bone meal. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take these out for the moment. I'll link these below. They came from Amazon and they're not very expensive. But I think they'll be a really good, as you can see. It's already holding it up so that there's plenty of airflow and there'll probably be less disease that way. So one thing that I have noticed with these micro dwarf tomatoes, they are determinate, but if you cut off the bad stuff, it tends to start regrowing, and I found this on other determinants as well. They start to regrow from the base. So even though this has already gone through 2 or 3 flushes at least of tomatoes, it's got this one, and it's getting ready to grow more so that it can actually produce more fruit. It's really awesome. And you can see the same thing on this one. This stalk here, I had cut off, and it regrew another one. This one regrew from the base, and it has flowers. So for most of these, I'm actually going to do 2 tomatoes. The bush steak, I'm going to do 3 or 4, and then some of the really small ones, I may do 1. So I want to make sure to put the taller ones on the top so they have a lot more space. So I'm going to do the round robin and the Metallica up here because those can get between 2 and 3 feet tall. So we got 2, and that fills up our top tier. So we're going to put in a little bit of bone meal. A little bit of fertilizer. This is organic polytone, which is a slow release. Tastes horrible. So it will take a while before this is bioavailable to the plant. I will water this when we're done with a fish and kelp emulsion. We want to make sure that we transfer our tags. Then we're going to just squeeze the cup till the roots come out. Sure, we're in good shape. And I'm not going to plant this any deeper than I have it here just because they're so small. So let's push that in there. And we have our first one planted. Yay! So exciting. Mix that up a little bit, make a little pocket. Do our next round robin. Okay. Rough the roots up a little bit and then just poke it in there. Nice. Okay. Taking some bone meal. And with organic fertilizers, you're going to find that you actually need to use far more than you think. There are directions on the packet, on the bag, that tells you how much, and you'd be surprised actually how much you need to include. Well, that's a big chunk of wood. That won't be good. So if you have a lot of debris, garden debris or wood that you want to, or leaves, you really don't want to put those in your active growing beds because they will actually they'll bind up the nitrogen so that they can decompose. Once they decompose in a compost pile, then they release that nitrogen back into the soil, but you really do not want to tie up your active bed with that because it'll just make your plant suffer. So you have Metallica 1 and Metallica 2. Come on. Beautiful, beautiful roots. Look at that. Really nice roots. And they're not wrapped around, so it's a good time. Plants, my tomatoes are a little bit further behind from where I had expected them because they're planting a little bit earlier. We actually had a much earlier last frost date than usual. And I was planning on at least another week. So since these are the taller 2 to 3 foot ones, I'm going to go ahead and just put one of these in here so that we're ready to go to support it as it gets bigger. GreenStalk does also make some supports that we can use like this. But for this application, we're going to go ahead and just use this because I have them already. Sure it's standing up. And then we have the first tier done. Yay! All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the next tier, and then we'll water it in. ahead and take all of these out at once and gently pull them apart. And these have a really long root on them, so we want to make sure to get that all the way into the soil. And again, I'm not planting these lower than the current dirt level. There's really, I don't really, with these, there definitely probably would not be any advantage to that. And I don't think overall there probably is anyway. Get the roots underneath it. Okay. I will need to come back with tags. I'm going to leave the little things off of those so that I know which ones they are. Alright, so since I wasn't recording, I went ahead and got labels. I got everything labeled up, and I also have put in all of the supports here, and all of the first tier and the second tier are full. And one more support. So we will now go back to the third tier and start putting in some of the smaller ones. Since we're very early in the season and I've just planted these, I'm going to go ahead and do both fish and seaweed fertilizer. Just put an eighth of a cup per gallon. And then we're going to go ahead and do some fish fertilizer as well. This is a 511 and this is a 231. So we're going to give it a little bit more nitrogen right now than I will throughout the rest of the season. But I want to give them a really good start. And what those numbers are, the first number is how much nitrogen it has per volume, which helps the plant grow and become very green. The second number is phosphorus, which is what helps develop the root as well as the blossoms and the fruit. And then the potassium is for the overall health of the plant. So we're just going to go ahead and add water. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and fill this up. And there's 3 lines on that far side, and we want to make sure to fill it all the way up. And what that'll do is that the water will drain throughout the GreenStalk. There's pans. There are pans at each level that will catch the water and distribute it to each of the pockets. And then just to clean it up a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and spray the whole thing. This is the only time that I'll be spraying the tomatoes like this. And from now on, I'll be watering from the top. But what I do want to do is go ahead back through and make sure everything is seated and upright. Because if it's laying down, like this one here, we could go ahead and it could start getting sick. So we're going to go ahead and just make sure everything's set up and in place. So we are all set. We have 30 tomato plants, micro tomato plants ready to go. Super exciting. This is a really great option, whether you have a GreenStalk, which I will link below, or just patio containers, any kind of patio pots. Micro tomatoes are a really great option if you don't have a lot of space. There's a lot of variety. Go to victoryseeds.com or Botanical Interest. Anything that says patio would be a good choice, but the micro dwarf tomatoes from Victory Seeds are a really great option as well. They have a lot, like I said, these are a lot of really, really small tomatoes, but we're going to have wonderful, gorgeous tomatoes, and they're delicious too. I will have a salsa GreenStalk coming up soon, and if you're interested in some of the other stuff I'm doing, check out this video. And until the next time, happy gardening. Bye.